Welcome to People's Voice on VOP TV, where citizen stories shape the narrative. Today, we're dissecting a major story that is dominating the headlines and sparking conversations across the nation. President Tinubu's mandate fulfilled, says Rivers State Administrator. Join the conversation with expert insight and citizen perspective. Share your thoughts with us. I am Savior Udo. Other news stories with details. APC slams Aregbesol's 2027 claim as empty boast. The Lagos State chapter of the All Progressive Congress, APC, has dismissed former Osun Governor Rauf Aregbesol's claim that the African Democratic Congress would take over Aso Rock and Lagos Government House in 2027. APC spokesman Sheye Oladejo described Aregbesol's remark as an empty boast and accused him of turning against the party that nurtured him. This is about nurturing and turning, okay? Of course, since he has left the APC and is now with the coalition, what do you expect from him? Everyone just wants to sell their markets. And all I would say, if I am permitted to actually use that particular language, which is the Yoruba language, Ajiawa, meaning that they would actually sell, because the man has been in the news, for past 2 or 3 weeks now, just projecting this, projecting that, trying to let us know that the ADC would come out strong in the 2027 polls. I wish them the very good luck that they think they deserve. Moving on, the ADC coalition leaders weigh option amid party disputes. Leaders of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, are reportedly considering switching to the new approved All Democratic Alliance, ADA, due to ongoing litigation issues within the party. The dispute centers around a court case filed by aggrieved ADC members, led by Deputy National Chairman Nafiu Bala, challenging the leadership of the Dave Mark-led executive coalition leaders. The leaders actually had a view over ADA as a more stable platform and may transition if the ADC crisis deepens. This was part of the things we discussed, I think, last week, yes, talking about our Nigerian politician being very, very professional in terms of potting, moving from here to there. So this is just a new coalition group that everyone decided to come together to be in, to see how to, push for the progress of this particular party. Now you're already looking at another way out, the exit, or let's call it the extra tire, the plan B, should in case the crisis deepens. But of course, I mentioned this on Friday when I talked about the ADC situation. This is just too fresh and it's too soon for ADC to start having litigations issues or having leadership issues. When you call a political party a coalition group, meaning that you all came together, having one goal, one agenda, being on the same page, okay, to push for something better or trying to let Nigerians know that you're actually ready for the polls. But if you're also having an internal issues, then a house that is divided against itself cannot stand. So if you're already having an internal issues, then let's just forget the 2027. Because if some leaders are already looking at ADA, then I don't know what every other person would actually talk about the ADC. But I wish them another good luck. Moving on. Okay, let's go straight to what the federal government actually projected. Federal government to feed 50 million pupils in 2026. The federal government plans to expand the National Homegrown School Feeding Program to cover for 50 million primary school pupils across Nigeria by 2026. Dr. Aderemi Adebowale, National Program Manager of the National Social Investment Program Agency, disclosed this in an interview. The initiative aims to include early years, which is from primary 1 to 3 and upper primary 4 to 6 in the school feeding program. The plan to gradually integrate out-of-school children. Meal cost, the estimated cost per meal is between 500 naira to 1,000 per child, ensuring nutritious and delicious meal daily. This isn't bad. And sincerely, if this particular plan would be implemented, federal government, personally on this show, I would appreciate you in 2026. So hopefully, we would actually see this implementation come to play. And away from that, $1 billion flyover in Benue State. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has flagged off the construction of a major flyover at Wurukum roundabout in Makurdi, Benue State, as a personal gift to the governor Hyacinth earlier. The project, valued at approximately $950 million to $1 billion, it's funded by the China's Exim Bank and forms part of a larger dual carriage, spanning 520 kilometers through Benue State. The project is funded by China's Exim Bank, with the federal government not having budgeted for this particular flyover. Governor earlier expressed his gratitude to President Bola Tinubu for the gesture, highlighting the state's infrastructure development under his administration. Okay, congratulations to Benue, and we actually hope that the people of Benue would enjoy this particular one. But of course, they need more. So federal government, we appreciate the flyover, but please, I think with the Benue has actually mentioned what they are lacking, and of course we all know that they are also facing insecurity. We have the IDPs there, we have so many other issues there, and I want us to also look into other areas just for the people of Benue to also enjoy the good of the land. And moving away from that particular one, Nigeria to enjoy 24/7 power supply soon. The federal government has announced that Nigeria is on track to achieving sustainability in power sector, with plans to provide 24/7 uninterrupted power supply in the near future. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu made this declaration during the inauguration of new facilities at the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria. Power is power, either the national grid or the solar green energy, as far as there is light in Nigeria. Of course, I believe the federal government has actually given REA, Rural Electrification Agency, the rights, and they've actually directed them to reach out to few states. I believe Akwa Ibom has actually signed the MOU already to reach out to some of the rural areas in different states in the nation, so as to see how to give them the mini grid. Okay, so if we can actually get to this particular feat, it will be a plus for the economy, it will be a plus for businesses, and everything will start prospering, because light or electricity is quite important in every part of the world. All right, moving on from that, sanction politicians for early campaigns. SERAP, the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to identify and prosecute politicians and political parties engaging in early election campaigns ahead of 2027 general elections. SERAP described these campaigns as unconstitutional, illegal, and detrimental to Nigerians' economic development and governance. Of course, we actually overflogged this between Thursday and Friday, and we actually looked at every angle as regards this particular situation of early campaigns and all of that. And one of my analysts mentioned, he said, if we are complaining about this and INEC knows what to do, can INEC, for example, sanction the presidency if they see their poster everywhere? Can INEC sanction the ruling party if they see their poster everywhere? There are some big leagues, there are some heavyweights in the politics of Nigeria today that if you find their posters, you know, in some places, can you actually call them to sanction them? Okay, so INEC still has a lot of work to do, and we would leave this for INEC to decide. Enugu judiciary workers resume strike over unpaid salaries. The Enugu State branch of the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria has resumed its industrial action over unpaid consolidated judiciary salary structure and other salaries arrears. The strike, which began on September 12, 2025, aimed to compel the Chief Judge and President of the Customary Court of Appeal to pay the outstanding salary. please pay them their salaries so that they can also feel good and feel happy to do their jobs. This is all I have to say about that. Away from that particular one, resident doctors suspend strike, give federal government 2 weeks ultimatum. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has suspended its 5-day warning strike effective Sunday, September 14th, 2025, after a virtual National Executive Council meeting. The strike was called off to grant the federal government a 2-week window to implement agreements reached on welfare and training demands. Please, the federal government, you have to look into this particular one and meet up with their demands in 2 weeks, because if we say health is wealth, these are the people that we usually and would always run to for them to either prescribe or for them to treat us. So please, we beg you, we need our health sector to function perfectly, okay, so that we can also live fine and be in good health. All right. So, and finally, Tony Cole urges Wike to join APC. End confusion. Former Rivers State governorship candidate of All Progressive Congress, APC, Tony Cole, has called on Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, to formally join the APC to clarify his political stance. Cole believes Wike's defection would strengthen Nigerian democracy and bring stability to Rivers State politics. Cole questions Wike's loyalty, saying, is he APC or PDP? As far as we know today, he is PDP. Okay? So if Tony Cole can be saying this happens to be the gubernatorial candidate of the APC in 2023 election, and he knows how Wike has actually been proactive and potent or even vocal about the ruling party as regards Rivers State politics and the federal level. Okay, so we would all also want Wike to come and declare his political standpoint, or let him declare where he is, instead of saying he's in PDP and telling anybody that will not vote for the president in 2027 that he would not support the person. Okay, so this is actually anti-party, but of course, someone somewhere, and his spokesperson also said he is not indulging in serving anti-party, so we don't even know what to believe anymore. If the PDP cannot sanction him, who am I? I am just Savior Udo, okay, a broadcast journalist doing my job here at VOP TV. Okay, to join the conversation, kindly call the number 090-447-32605. 090-447-32605. Follow us on social media at VOP TV Live. You can join the hashtag as well. Use the hashtag People's Voice on VOP TV. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. Kindly hit the subscribe button, and together we can make our voices heard. It is time for us to go on a break. As soon as we return, we'll go straight to the topic. Rivers Sole Administrator declares Tinubu'S mandate is fulfilled. Don't go nowhere. Stay in place. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the program. Yes, it is People's Voice on VOP TV. Rivers Sole Administrator declares that Tinubu'S mandate has been fulfilled. Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, the sole administrator of Rivers State, has announced that he has fulfilled President Bola Tinubu'S mandate to restore full democratic governance in the state. Ibas made this declaration during the presentation of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission report on the local government elections. Ibas stated that the successful conduct and swearing in of local government chairmen and councils have decisively achieved the mandate given by the President Tinubu. Okay? Ode commended the people of Rivers State for their peaceful participation in the polls. Rivers State is on the cusp of significant political shift as a suspended Governor Simlai Fubara prepares to return to office by September 18, 2025, following a 6-month emergency rule declared by President Bola Tinubu'S on March 18, 2025. The emergency rule, which saw Vice Admiral Tinubu'S serve as sole administrator, was aimed to restoring peace in the state amidst a power struggle between Fubara and former Governor Nyesom Wike. We're now being joined by Barrister Lai Ademokoya, a public affairs and political analyst. Hello, Barrister. Good afternoon.
Hello, Mr. Savior. How are you? Good afternoon.
Very well, thank you. Good afternoon to you. Okay, and we're also being joined by Comrade Eragbe Anslem, member Labour Party Interim National Working Committee. Hello, Comrade. Are you there? Good afternoon. Comrade, please unmute your mic. Hello, Comrade.
Can you hear me?
Okay, Comrade, we can hear you now. Good afternoon, Comrade.
Yeah, good afternoon, Comrade Savior.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Comrade Ragbe Anslem here.
You're welcome on board, Comrade. How is Abuja today?
Party. Well, Abuja is okay.
Okay, we also have a senior political analyst in the studio with us, Mr. Dele Fanimo. You're welcome back on board, sir.
I'm back.
You're back, sir. Okay, just for the ones that are curious, he left us in this country and is back now, so we are grateful that he's back. Welcome back on board, sir.
Thanks so much.
Yes, sir. The weather is
everybody.
Of course, we miss you too, sir. The weather is still the same, sir.
Well.
Okay, so I would like to start with Comrade Ademokoya. How do you assess the impact of the 6 months emergency rule on Rivers State's governance and stability?
Well, if we look at what has the events that has transpired in Rivers State, and if we look at what the administrator, Ibas, has done in the last 6 months, at least we can give a general assessment that there has been relative peace and order. Unlike what has been happening before Ibas was made the administrator, that you recall that the House of Assembly of Rivers State was bombed, was brought down. You also recall that a lot of gas pipelines were bombed, were brought down as well. So if you are talking in regards of peace and security, after Ibas was made the administrator of Rivers State, at least it brought some sanity to the state. Okay. So that's the general assessment so far.
Okay, so it brought some sanity to the state. Okay, so yes. to Comrade Anslem, do you think that Vice Admiral Ibas has fulfilled that President Bola Tinubu's mandate? And what are the criteria that we would use to evaluate this particular standard or the mandates as they actually mentioned?
Well, thank you, Voice of the People TV. Basically, let us agree that peace has relatively returned to Rivers State, which was the essence of the state of emergency declaration by President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, upon declaration, gave a 3-point agenda for the sole administrator to stabilize the state, to rebuild the institutions, then restore democratic governance in the state. So basically, these were the issues. So if the sole administrator today says it's Uhuru, based on his mandate, relatively, I think he has achieved that. He has been able to conduct local government elections that brought in a local government chairman, ideally, which was relatively peaceful. However, now that is the restoring the democratic governance structure mandate in that part of the clauses associated with the declaration. So in terms of stabilizing the state, I think we agree relatively that the peace, there's no mercy somehow, because the bickering, of course, the political bickering between His Excellency the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, and His Excellency Governor Fubara. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. So I said relatively the stability in the state, because the political bickering, as the tension has reduced, because normalcy somehow has returned.
Okay. Okay.
On the aspect of rebuilding the institutions,
yeah,
which means re-establishing government's institutions to be functional.
Yeah.
Well, I think also generally we say per assessment there's relative peace, which is what is important. Normalcy has returned. But what we need to emphasize is to be sure that the president
comrade,
immediately call off.
Comrade.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what are the potential governance challenges that Rivers State might face with the return of Governor Similari Fubara?
But basically, if the right thing is done, which I suppose is being done, what are the issues? Reinstating the democratic structures in Rivers State, the executive and the legislature. So once these two arms of government are restored, of course, they have constitutional responsibilities on how to carry out their duties. For instance, the legislature needs to make laws, then subsequently oversight the activities of the executive of the state. So, should this be done, I think when they resume, then there will be peace. Okay. Then the governor should be allowed to administer the state as it were, as the chief executive. Okay. So if there are political interests, maybe if the FCT minister has political interest, he should liaise effectively with the governor.
All right, thank you so much, comrade. So, Sir, Mr. Fanimo, I would like to come to you. Of course, we know the power tussle that happened in Rivers, okay, and a certain godfather letting the boy know that I am still in charge. So, sir, with the level that this whole situation has actually gone, and with the fact that we saw in the news that Fubara has gone to apologize to his godfather, he has gone everywhere, and some demands were made, and he agreed some terms if he's going to be reinstated. I would like to know, will he still be able to actually do the job of a governor? Will he be given the right, will he be given the freedom to still work as a governor, or he will now become the yes sir kind of governor that does not have the right to governance or to actually be in charge of implementing whatsoever that is good for the people of Rivers?
You see, let me answer that question straight. It's going to be a tall order for him to be a man of himself in this second term and first term. Because ab initio, he considered so many things that ordinarily, if you were pushing for the advancement, the welfare and protection of Rivers people, you shouldn't have considered those things.
But sir, you can just mention a few.
For instance, Wike, we were told, said he was going to appoint, which he did, the chief of staff, the commissioners, and all the rest. And just because of your inordinate ambition, you considered to all this. And
would he have done something different in a position where you know how you got to power, or you remember the corridor before you got to that particular corridor?
I am telling you that before the election, Wike told him what he would do if he is to be the governor. Because Fubara had no political structure, no muzzle to work his way to the government house in Rivers. He needed somebody. And among the plethora of aspirants, Wike, for his own interest,
personal interest,
for his own interest, he wanted Fubara to be there because they've been in government together, and he understands those things they did together. So he needed somebody that would back him up. And Wike was looking towards Fubara. But there was a proviso. If I must put you in this government house, you have to do certain things. Let it, you see, I am not an apostle of ideal all the time. And I always look at actions that precipitate reactions. And so, some people are saying, what is wrong in Fubara? Trying to dribble him, and then when he gets to power, they will chip him off and all that.
Agreement is agreement.
But the point is, the so-called comforters, they get more inclined to work certain things that you'll be so entangled that you'll not be able to break away from.
And if you try to break away, you are out of that particular
power. And that was what Wike did. You know? And so, for me, Fubara didn't come to government house to serve the Rivers people. If anybody
to serve his master.
No, to serve himself.
Himself. Okay. So that means everybody that has been coming
they
to
always
Rivers
serve themselves, but they pretend to
be
serving the people. How many of them actually serve the people?
From the days of Peter Odili, we can remember.
So what we are saying is that
Amechi said he served the people.
The masses would always remain the fall guys in this equation. We are the pawns in the hands of these kings and queens. And I've not seen any chess game where a pawn transmutes to king.
It's not possible.
It's not possible. So until we begin to find out how we lost it.
So, sir, I want us to look into this. You would agree with me that the former local government polls election was cancelled, nullified by the court. And it was said that this particular election should be reconducted. But of course, with a governor, as regards the constitution. But in a position where a sole administrator is conducting a local government election, what's your take on that? Is this constitutional?
You see, let me tell you. You recall that when Yaradua died, it was a difficult situation when Jonathan was to take over.
Yes, sir.
But at some point, they used doctrine of necessity to sidestep the constitution. Because we can't keep Aso Rock vacant for too long. Now, local government administration would have suffered for 6 months if Ibas did not contest the election. But right now, where I'm seated here, I am only lettered, I'm not learned. So the lawyer would do a better interpretation of this. But I can assure you, if anything is not right, the conduct of that election and the swearing in of local government administration in that state, then the court is available for them.
Okay, so of course we have Barrister Laya Demokoya online with us. So Barrister, I would like to ask you what your take is, and please, I want you to actually enlighten us as regards the Constitution. When it comes to a sole administrator conducting an election, of course we know that the court actually nullified the previous election that was done by Fubara. Okay, but if the court said that the election should be redone and all of that, why should a sole administrator conduct an election when he's not a governor that was elected in office? Okay? And also, I would like to ask you, in terms of civic participation, what role can citizens play in promoting good governance and accountability in Rivers State? Please, I would like you to take the two questions.
Xavier, those are very good questions.
Thank you.
First of all, I would like to address the issue of the constitutionality of the election. In law, you cannot build something or nothing. If you look at the way the sole administrator was even appointed by the president, they didn't follow the due process of the law. Because if you look at the provisions of Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it states that upon the proclamation of a state of emergency, that the National Assembly will be informed, and National Assembly needs to give an approval. But unfortunately, the president didn't do that. What he did was he already declared the state of emergency, appointed the pass, and after he did that, he now went to the National Assembly. Which shouldn't be the case. You should do it before you declare somebody as the sole administrator of Rivers State. So you cannot build something on nothing. The whole charade was already defective. So now, going to the issue of conducting election, the organization of government that has the power under the law to conduct election is INEC. It's not the sole administrator, it's not the governor. So it doesn't really matter whether the election was conducted under the administrator. If you look at before, if you look at during the military regime, before Nigeria was able to transition into democracy, there are many elections that was conducted by the military regime into a civilian government. So I don't think those are the real issues, in this whole Rivers situation.
Okay, so what's your take on that particular statement? The president's mandate has been fulfilled. Because I believe it is not just about the orderliness, the calmness of River States, or, in terms of security being intact and all of that. People were talking about transparency and accountability. Should Vice Admiral Ibas provide a detailed breakdown of the state's finances during his emergency rule, and why? Okay, I want you to look at all of this particular situation surrounding the sole administrator, because he did so many things without anyone vetting it. How do we get him to be accountable to everything? And that statement, the president's mandate has been fulfilled. To your best knowledge, what do you think you can make of this, please?
If you are talking about the mandate, whether the mandate is fulfilled, it depends on the kind of mandate the president is talking about. Because is it legal mandate? Is it mandate of delivering on security of life and properties? If you are talking about mandate of security, okay, you can say he has fulfilled that. If you are talking about the respect for the rule of law, unfortunately, he hasn't fulfilled that mandate in that regard. But if you are talking about political mandates, then you will say 100% he has been able to achieve a political mandate, because his strategies has been able to box Fubara into a corner. Even there has been, I don't know whether it has been substantiated, there has been rumors that eventually Fubara is going to, join APC. So if you are looking at it politically, you say, oh, he fulfilled his mandate in the political arena. But if you are looking at it legally, for me, he didn't fulfill the mandate of, complying with the rule of law, which was part of his mandate when he was vying for the position of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But if you are looking at the mandate of securing of life and properties, he was able to achieve that, because after Ibas was appointed as the sole administrator, you agree with me that relative peace came to Rivers State. All the occurrences of bomb blasts, violence, and what have you, all of it went down. So based on that, you can say, okay, in that regard, he fulfilled his mandate.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister. Okay, away from that, I would like to talk to Comrade Anslem. Comrade, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so Comrade, what measures can be taken to ensure transparency and accountability in governance, particularly during the emergency rules or transitions?
Well, first and foremost, let us appreciate the fact that an emergency rule is an abnormal situation in a democratic setting. So ideally, it creates room for a lot of impunity ordinarily. So accountability might not be one of those things you are going to get under a sole administratorship in the way the word should be used or expectations should be. So, but if you want better accountability, because for instance, a sole administrator has absolute powers, the powers of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to do whatsoever he wishes to do without conferring with anybody in the state, other than getting directive from Mr. President, as it were. So it means the sole administrator could make any presentation, ideally, of anything in terms of monetary sums or just by way of submission, because there will be no oversight, there will be no checking, there will be no appropriation, ideally the way it should be, except if the National Assembly, in that circumstance, will wish to look into some of their expenditures proposed. But even at that, like I said, it's expected that the budgetary provisions for the year under review would have taken care of some of the things to be implemented if it comes to the issue of proper budgeting and proper implementation. So I want to say the little or much I know about this kind of situation, it creates room for a lot of for anomalies, irregularities to take place. Now, the political aspect of that would be that the sole administrator would have had a mandate, an untold mandate, to probably put in place political structures like they have done now, even though under the cover of INEC, to have gone for an election, local government election, to elect council chairman. But you agree with me that whoever emerged as council of the 23 local government in Rivers State, those who would have emerged, of course, however free or fair you think that process was, it was not. Because it was a marching order to say, let certain A, B, C, D, F, G, H march to serve our interests. And you and I know that that overall interest is towards 2027. So what that means is the sole administrator will have succeeded, ideally as it were now, to have put in place a democratic sort of structure politically by way of that election, to put men and women in place that will further the interests of Mr. President's 2027 presidential aspiration. So,
comrade, can you hear me? Being a politician, of course, I know your position as a very strong voice in the Labour Party. I know what you've actually done and achieved and all of that. And you know the nook and crannies when it comes to the political sector. What challenges might Governor Fubara face in his return to office, and how can he address them? I know this for a fact, that it will not just be a free and fair thing for him. I know it will not just be easy, just like our senior analyst mentioned here, that it is going to be a very serious one and a power tussle for him. But of course, how can he address them? Because this is like, we might say it is a blessing for him to go back, but of course, I don't want to say it is suffering and smiling that awaits him. So please go ahead.
Thank you very much. You see, politically, let me tell you, like, I think one of the guests here made a statement. You see, when you are dealing with these old brigades, they have perfected ways of getting you to sign documents or to sign things that are beyond your reach. So they know what they want, and they'll make you to sign. For instance, Fubara came to power without having political structures. So it means the structure that brought him to power were entirely wicked structure. So, and they would have made him to sign at the onset, which he did. So only to come and try to subvert those agreements wouldn't work. So that was why they showed him in the first instance that they called the shot. Now, it will be more difficult for him when he returns to power. Now, let me tell you, the reason for that is because Rivers State has to come into the kitty for the ruling APC. And for that to happen, the FCT minister, is the hatchet man in Rivers State who has a sole mandate to ensure that Rivers State comes to APC for 2027. And for that to be done, it means they have to whittle down the powers of the state governor. And because for him, they now feel he's not loyal. Loyalty in politics is 100%. So he has proven not to be loyal. So they are all out against him. They will ensure that the structures of the party in the state is not controlled by him. So, and part of what has been achieved is to use a sole administrator to further entrench those democratic arrangements in Rivers State that will further the interests of the APC, Mr. President, and the FCT minister.
All right, thank you so.
So politically speaking, this is what it is. So I'm saying, and the governor knows that he will have little or no powers by the time he returns. Okay. Because he will not have the powers to immediately undo the democratic structures like the local government council election that are taking place. that have entrenched the powers that be in that aspect of the government. So, and also if there are vacancies in some of the assemblies, because these local government people are now going to be the ones to go for those elections, to provide votes, to consolidate those further gains. So ideally what he needs to do is measurably play along, because a few things are at stake now. His re-election as the governor 2027 is already at stake. So it is either they give him some of the terms and conditions, which will be defect to APC, and your second term re-election be guaranteed, or remain in PDP, and we throw you out, certainly, because we already have the structures and
the comrade, if you're already going to this particular route, of course, yes. We heard it in the news, and I don't know, rumor has it that it was agreed that it was to go for just this one term, and afterwards is to step down for someone else.
Well, it's not unlikely, because if you understand how Nigeria politics works, more so with the old brigade, they will make you sign documents. They have the boys, they have the resources to cow you. So however principled you are, but however, it takes a principled man in the first instance not to have even agreed in the first instance to sign or to become governor by all means.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, comrade. Let me ask you this question. Since you're talking about the old brigades and they make you didn't actually channel it to any political party now. You made it open to let us understand that this is the Nigerian political system we're talking about here. So, if I may ask you, are you saying that this also applies to your party, the Labour Party? For example, that there is no party in Nigeria that they wouldn't give you documents to sign so they can actually muzzle you around or curb you to a particular position. I'd like you to clear that.
You see, let me say something here. You see, very few persons in Nigeria are determined to do what is right. You see, if you know the case we had in Labour Party or that we still have, it's even more treacherous. Our case was more treacherous to the point where, let me tell you now, for instance, there is a prosecution order from the Office of the Attorney General of Federation and Minister of Justice hanging on Julius Abure's head for criminal prosecution over perjury, forgery, and criminal conspiracy. Because why? He had to use absolute powers, which he had not, to write withdrawal letters and to forge candidate signature and to submit such forged documents in INEC portal, and even went as far as getting fake court orders, which were uploaded in INEC portal. So you see, these are characters that already were entrenched in the old order. So even the new party we thought, or new Nigeria,
I believe you have evidences to back all of this up, right?
Oh, sure.
Because I usually I like facts and figures, but aside from that, I know you were projecting, or you were quite audible about all of this particular case, as at last week you even challenged Julius Abure to come and defend himself, or you are openly asking him to sue you if you were wrong with all of this particular submission of yours.
Yes, certainly. Even right here, I will send to you the prosecution order on Julius Abure.
Okay, thank you so much, comrade. Let me come back to
Attorney General of Federation.
Okay, thank you, comrade. I'll come back to you shortly. Let me come back to the studio to Mr. Dele Fanimo, our senior political analyst. Sir, what advice would you give to Governor Fubara to ensure a smooth transition and effective governance? You know, when we talk about the power dynamics and governance, how might the power dynamics between Governor Fubara and former Governor Nyesom Wike influence governance decision in River State?
It is very clear that there is no way it won't impact Rivers people the tussle between Fubara and his godfather, Nyesom Wike. But what should be instructive here is that Fubara should be very, very careful. Don't forget, 27 out of 31 are on the side of Wike.
27 out.
And Wike holds all the aces. No matter what Rivers people do on the streets, it is these 27 that will make or mar Fubara in the months ahead before the next election. It's so loose, the electoral law is so loose that it's the same song, it's the same mantra, anti-party activities, high-handedness, and low level of transparency. Those are the words they use when they want to impeach. And you stand impeached. By the time Fubara is impeached, you would have to go to court, from one court to the other until you get to the Supreme Court. By the time he's coming back, election must have been held. And they will just go back home. So he must be a bit circumspect. And he must avoid trouble. Because anything that deviates from the agreement Wike had with Fubara will only spell trouble. And that trouble is going to consume just one person, Fubara, and probably his deputy.
So, sir, even to the detriment of the state, you are saying that Fubara should just agree to whatsoever that is presented to him? He
should be courteous. I'm not saying he should agree to every tenet of the rule. But there's a way you talk to somebody, having gone this far, because Wike is also under pressure.
He is, yes.
If anything comes up again in Rivers, why is it? Why
are you the only one?
Are you the only one? So he's also mindful of that. But between Fubara and Wike, they should listen to themselves more than listen to the fifth columnist that surround them. That is the only way Rivers people can benefit.
So what lasting impact do you think the emergency rule will have on Rivers State governance and development?
You see, it is not going to be just for Rivers State alone. Other governors would have taken heed of what has happened in Rivers State. And you see, the bottom line is, if you know you cannot finish a fight, don't start.
Don't start it.
The day this fight broke out, against what every other person was saying, I told them, I said, there is no way Fubara can win this battle. Because the first thing you must do as a governor, once you get to that seat, is to make sure that the House of Assembly is consolidated in your government house. Because once those ones, because most of the people that contest for House of Assembly election, they are mostly sponsored by godfathers. They are not people that have money. Because those who have money would rather go to House of Reps or House of Senate.
Okay,
so you need to, it was the same thing that happened to Ladoja in Oyo State then.
And the same Ladoja now is the king.
Ladoja was unmindful of how to hold on to the chamber, House of Assembly in Oyo State. And he allowed Adedibu to have a free reign. And Adedibu took back that house. And the result, they say, is history. So Fubara should also be mindful. He should be working assiduously to make sure that he has some level of leverage in the house. Otherwise, it will be consumed as quickly as he comes back.
All right, so thank you so much, Mr. Dele Fanimu. And of course, Comrade Anslem, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, so Comrade, thank you so much for being part of the show. But I would just like you to just take 1 second to give your own advice to Fubara and tell him what you feel he should do in the coming days of his reinstatement.
Well, thank you very much. Quickly, my advice would be for Fubara to be loyal because that's the situation he has found himself. So any further attempt to be disloyal will spell a lot of doom, political doom for him.
Okay, thank you so much.
Let him be circumspect and use his brain very wisely.
All right, thank you so much. And yes, and thank you and to Barrister Lai Ademokoya. What would be your final take on this particular Rivers saga? Barrister, are you there? Please go ahead.
Okay, yes, I'm here, Mr. Savior.
Yes, please go ahead.
I'm here. Okay, so I will just advise Mr. Fubara, just like the earlier speaker said, he doesn't have any other choice than to be loyal because it's Wike that called the shots currently in Rivers State. So Fubara cannot do anything, just like the man in the studio too said earlier, 27 against 4. So there really could not, even as a matter of fact, by the time he comes back into power, he will still be having a bit of issues with the House of Assembly because the conflict has not been resolved. It's still there. So I can assure you that there's still a lot of bitterness. But he doesn't have a choice. He's not a man of the people. He just has to serve his interest and be loyal politically.
Of course, so Barrister, when you say is the one calling the shots in Rivers, don't forget it's also the one calling the shots in the city you are in. I'm talking about Abuja as well. so I'm going to leave you with that as well. All right, so thank you so much, Barrister Laya Demokoya. Thank you so much
for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Anselm, and thank you, Mr. Delifani.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Television.
All right, this is how far we can actually go on the show today. My name is Xavier Udo. Don't give up because it is not over. Tough time doesn't last, but tough people do last. Whatsoever you're facing will soon be over, and you will definitely smile again. Have a good evening rest.